me, this one's going to go big.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. Right then, AWP jackpot dates, the months and the years in which AWPs, your pub and arcade fruit machines, over the years have got their upgrades to the various jackpot values. I talked about this in the previous video, the Bonanza video, where I made reference to the fact that in the old video about Bonanza, that the one with the shit sound on it, I guessed that Bonanza had been 1991 or 92. And then when the new DX was released with, high quality artwork where you could see the date etched on the glass, it was 1995, and I was kind of quite shocked to see how far out I was in that estimate. And that led on to the section in the previous video talking about jackpot dates. When did these things get their various upgrades? And I referenced this thread over at Desert Island Fruit, started by We Are City in August of last year, where we're kind of trying to work it out, and lots of people have inputted to that thread over the months. And truth of the matter is that a lot of it has been a guesswork, effectively. Sometimes we've got dates on the machine, sometimes we've got manuals, but fundamentally it doesn't really seem to be written down anywhere. Definitive dates for when, for example, £4.80 jackpot machines stopped being a thing, and they either got upgraded to £6 or the new £6 machines were released. I've got these two on the screen here, by the way, because I remember playing these very clearly in the pub. When I first started going to the pub, there was me and two or three mates. We went, back end of 1990, but I think it was 1991 that we started really being able to get served in the pub. We all turned 17 in 1991, and we were in the pub a lot. And I remember playing this fella here, Manhattan Skylines, in a pub in Radcliffe. I mean, not that it really matters, but that there used to be a pub. I can't remember for the life of me what it was called. I remember, a Sevens and Melons they had in there. And this building here used to be a pub as well. That was good. That was called the Staff of Life. In fact, maybe if we go back on the Google Time Machine, we can only go back to 2000. Yes, now the Staff of Life. The Staff of Life, I remember playing a Manhattan Skylines in the Staff of Life. It will have been the back end of 1990 or into 1991. They had, in fact, variously, I've picked these two because I remember both of those being in that pub, not at the same time, but they had a Sunset Boulevard at one point and a Manhattan Skylines in, and that, the George, that's it. That's still a pub. If you go back to 2000, they were not the most salubrious of locations. The pubs of Radcliffe were not what you would call a luxury experience. God, it was for sale in 2008. And if we go to the current day, it's been converted into a residential property. Blimey, we used to drink in both of those pubs. So I guess the point was with the Bonanza, sorry, I went off on a little bit of a tangent there. The point with Bonanza is it shook me a little bit, because I was so sure in my head that I had played Bonanza in the pubs when I was at college, and I was in college from September 1990 to, what would it have been, May 92 when I took my A-levels. And then I was in university. I went to Lancaster University in September of 1992, and I was there until December of 1992. There is a gambling low ebbs to come about that 4-month period, because that was quite the time. But I had in my head, I've made reference to this over the years for the whole, not just on this channel, but the whole fruit machine emulation life cycle. I've always talked in terms of playing £6 jackpot machines when I was at college, 1991 and 92, and then when I went to uni in September 92, I've always talked about £6 jackpot machines already existing. So the thing with Bonanza, where I was way out, I thought, I was playing this in 91, 92, and no, it was 95. That made me curious. So this thread was resurrected, and following on from the previous video, we actually had new members join up as well. We've had new people posting. There were also comments left on the previous video. But one way or another, we brought this one up again. Zaphod here has been posting about his memories. We've had, like I say, we've had people chipping in, trying to get to the bottom of it. But the real star prize, the Gold Star Award, goes to this guy here, Jason, who you can see has just recently joined up at Desert Island Fruits. He's only joined in the last week. And he also left a comment on the previous video. So as ever, thank you to everyone who has left a comment on the video. Thanks to those of you who are joining up at Desert Island Fruits and joining the community. But turns out that Jason here has already done the spade work on this, on a thread that I missed. I've got to be honest, I missed this thread back in the day. Well, I say back in the day, it was six years ago, back in 2015. There was yet another thread, and historic jackpot amounts. I don't remember reading this thread. But what Jason has done here has effectively dug out all of the legislation from the government website. Because, of course, in this new internet era, where you would previously have to go to, government offices or whatever and look through the old, archived legislation in the vaults. I mean, it's all publicly available. These are publicly available documents. But, of course, in the olden days, you'd have to go and physically look for the things and go to a building somewhere, in a government building, and be taken down to where these things are stored. But they've all been digitised over the years. And it turns out that the various gambling acts that have been passed over the years to increase the stake and prize combinations are available online. And what this Jason guy has done has basically found all of them. And the ones that exist, there's only one that's missing where he couldn't find the legislation. But other than that, he has dug them all out. And this, frankly, is cast iron record that we have been lacking, that we've been trying to fill in the blanks ourselves from memory, from manuals, from dates on glass, all that sort of thing. But we have got it here in absolute black and white. It's exactly what you think it would be. So if you go to the 27th of May 1985, you can click on it there, and I will link to this thread in the video description. This introduces the 20p play for club machines. You can see there where section 3 there, substituting 10p with 21p. If you click on some of the others now, this is an interesting one because this is when the £4.80 jackpot came in. So you can see that the legislation was passed in December of 1989, came into force on the 1st of January 1990. And you can see there the values being changed. That our £2 cash prize goes to £2.40, and the token prize, the token jackpot, goes from £4 to £4.80. And this is allowing a stake increase there. So the other one I think was for club machines to go up to 20p. This now, as of the 1st of January 1990, is allowing 20p stake on AWPs. That's your pub and your arcade machines. And frankly, looking down the list there, you can see that they are all there. Here's the more recent ones where we've got the £25 jackpot. We've also got here the familiar £70 jackpot, 2007 for the £35 jackpot, 2009 for the £70 jackpot, and we have 2014. You can see right down at the bottom, as of January 2014, category C. This is another thing that, of course, they introduced the various categories for random and compensated games and whatnot, but the one that you can see down at the bottom there, January 2014, which is where we are now, that's the £1 play with £100 cash jackpot. So you can see them all on the screen there. And looking down the list, frankly, they all looked right. There was none of them from my active playing years that I thought, oh, that seems wrong, or I remember it being different from that. That they all, I mean, not that you can argue with the legislation. The legislation is obviously fact, but in my head it was like, yep, that all seems about right. Apart from this one here, which absolutely stuck out like a sore thumb to me. And when I saw this one, I was kind of like, what? No, really? Really? It's like if you had told me this, if somebody had just stood in front of me and said, oh, you know what, Degsy? £6 jackpot didn't come out till the 1st of January 1993. I'd be like, fuck off. I remember playing £6 jackpot machines when I was at college, and when I went to uni in September 1992, the £6 jackpots were already on site. And I would argue that till I was blue in my face. You cannot argue with the legislation. And it kind of, I know that it sounds a bit desperate in a way, but it kind of threw me a bit, to be honest with you, because this really blows apart a good chunk of my history in a way of when I thought I played certain machines and videos that I've made on the channel, because I'm sure I have made multiple references to £6 jackpot machines when I was going to the pub when I was at college, and it can't be true. It must be wrong. If we look at the legislation here, you can see that it was put before Parliament on the 18th of November 1992. So I was already at university then, because I was only at university at Lancaster from September to December 92. I started again at Manchester Uni the next year. Like I say, I need to do the gambling low ebbs for that period of time at Lancaster University. They were not a good 4 months, but laid before Parliament 18th of November 1992, coming into force on the 1st of January 1993. You cannot argue with that the legislation is fact, it is historical record. We can see those familiar values there. Our £2.40 cash jackpot increases to £3. Our token jackpot, or non-monetary prize as it is referred to here, kind of puts it into stark relief, that, doesn't it, where you think about it, you're paying money to win a non-monetary prize. Fantastic stuff. But yeah, we can see there that going from £4.80 to £6. So that is when the £6 jackpot came in. It was available from the 1st of January 1993. Now, obviously, there was a little bit of lead-in time there, so the operators and the manufacturers will have known it was coming in. So doubtless there were upgrade kits available pretty much from day one. Not sure when the first native £6 machine came out, but the fact remains that none of us, me included, were playing £6 jackpot machines before January 1993, which means that I had it wrong in my head. And I never played a £6 jackpot machine whilst I was at college between 1990 and 1992, and I didn't play them whilst I was at Lancaster University between September and December of 1992. So the question then is, well, does it matter? Well, no, not really. To me personally, this is actually quite a big thing, because it has, like I say, blown away things that I am sure that I would have swore blind I had right in my head. So, for example, when I was at college in Bury, let's just put Pegman down here. It was at the end of Parliament Street there, and that is not a college anymore. That used to be part of Bury College. That was the front entrance there. How far back can we take if we go back to 2000? No. It looks like it hasn't been a college for a while. So let's come out of there. But that was where I went to college, and then there was the actual Bury. That was like a separate little... well, campus is the wrong word because nobody lived there. But that was like a separate section of the college. And then you got the main college up there. And then we would often... Well, I would often be in town in the arcade and the pub when I should have been in college, and my friends who were more studious than I would be in college. But one way or another, we often went out into the pubs of Bury. I think I've mentioned the Knowsley before. And one thing, for example, and this is one of the super, super clear memories that I have, is playing Popeye on a £6 jackpot in a pub. Let's see if we can find it. Bury has changed a lot over the years. God, where was it? It's all changed. There's so much new shit around here. It was round that fucking car. It was down here somewhere. It was like out the back of the rock. So I'm sure there used to be a car park. That car park wasn't there. That wasn't there, but there's the rock. That's the rock in Bury. And I'm sure there was a pub. Flat roof pub called the Flying Shuttle. I'm sure it was here. Oh, I wonder if your bloody time machine thing, because I think it was here. How far back can we go? We can go back. Oh. There it is. The Flying Shuttle. It was still there as a building in 2014. Yeah, now we used to go in that pub a lot. You could buy things in there that weren't alcohol, put it that way, of which I availed myself sometimes. I remember playing a Popeye on a £6 jackpot in there, and I would have sworn blind that was when I was at college. But looking at those dates there, we know that absolutely can't be the case. So what has obviously happened is we carried on drinking, even though we went away to uni and went to different places, me and my group of friends. We were often back in Radcliffe where we all lived during holiday times and that kind of thing. And we would still go out to the pub in Bury, and we would carry on frequenting the same pubs. So when I played Popeye in that pub on a £6 jackpot, it must have been after 1993, the start of 93. We did carry on going out in the same places, same pubs when we were all in town together. So that must have been when it was. That was also when I played one of my first £6 upgrades. I can't remember which one it was, but it was a Watch for My Hidden Treasures in that bar on that side there. I remember. Do you remember the old Watch for My Hidden Treasures? I've covered them on the channel before, where on the £4.80 jackpot, the yellow double bars were always a jackpot if you were quick enough. The blue or the red sevens was always on a £2.20 exchange, and I was in the flying shuttle. It was after the £6 jackpot had come out. I was in the bar on that side, and they had, I genuinely can't remember which one it was. They all kind of blur into each other because there were so many of the fucking things. But it was running the new £6 jackpot. Got up to the £2.20 exchange. I was like, oh, brilliant, I'm going to have one of these new £6 jackpots. And we all know what they did on the Watch for My Hidden Treasures machines. The £2.20 exchange was a lot tighter on time, and the exchange was by no means a guaranteed £6 jackpot anymore. Again, I would have said that I was sure that that was when I was at college, and it can't have been, because I'd finished college by then, by the 1st of January 1993. Not only had I finished college, I'd finished my short tenure at Lancaster University as well, so it can't have been. I do appreciate here that this is very much a kind of personal thing, because but you may have your own thing if you look at that down that list of dates there. But I'm not the only one, because a guy called Dond Player over at Desert Island Fruits, he had the same kind of memory as me, that he had in his head he was playing £6 jackpot machines in like 1991ish. But again, can't have been the case, because it came in 1993. I was first a little bit shaken by discovering that Bonanza was definitely a 1995 machine, and that really gave me a bee in my bonnet to try and nail this thing down once and for all. And thankfully Jason here, who left a comment on the previous video, joined up over at Desert Island Fruits and linked to this thread over at Jackpotty from 2015, where he did all the work here and actually dug out the legislation to give us once and for all this irrefutable evidence of when all these various jackpots came into force. And one of the other ones that made me so sure about it is, for example, I've got a very, very clear memory of playing a Viva Las Vegas 6 in a pub in Lancaster, and I was only at uni in Lancaster from September to December 92. But again, my memory must be wrong, and thinking about it, I still carried on going out in the pubs of Lancaster, partly because to get to and from the Isle of Man, you have to, if you're on the boat, you go via Heysham, which is here. So to get to Heysham, you basically have to go through Lancaster. You get the train up to Lancaster, and then there's this really shitty single line train track that goes from Lancaster to Heysham. See, there's the train station at Heysham Port, and then one way or another, like I say, it's a single liner, and one way or another that takes you back to Lancaster. No toilets on those trains back in the early 90s, as I found out the hard way. If you go out on the piss in Lancaster, get the train to Heysham, that can get quite unpleasant. But obviously, I started going to and from Heysham quite regularly, because me and Mrs Degsy started going out in 1994, so I was travelling to and from there myself. I would go up there to meet her, so on. So one way or another, even though I'd left uni in December 92, I still went through Lancaster on a fairly regular basis. And me and Mrs Degsy would sometimes, we weren't averse to just jumping on a train from Manchester. Even when we were down in Manchester together, we were not averse to jumping on the train and going out for a day somewhere. We'd go up to Preston on the train. We would go up to, there's Manchester, blimey, good job, Degsy. Yeah, we'd jump on the train. We'd go up to, God, we did Leeds, we did Preston, we'd go out to Blackpool, and we'd go up to Lancaster as well, just for a day out. We'd just go out for a day on the piss in Lancaster. So again, the point being, my memory must be wrong. I mean, God, I wouldn't even want to try and find the pubs, but there was a pub somewhere in Lancaster. Oh, God, you know what? Oh, God, you know what? If I had almost... The Toll House, that rings a bell. You know what? I'd almost say it was there. I'd almost say it was in that pub there that I remember playing. Just as soon as I saw it then, I thought, is that... The thing with Lancaster is it's a historic city. so they can't fuck with it very much. Like, the whole fucking place is listed or something. So it's like the worst place ever for cars, because it was not, when they built Lancaster, it wasn't designed for like modern traffic, but they can't really do much to fix it because they can't knock anything down or rebuild anything. It is the worst place for traffic. It really is. But, well, the point being that not much, like, unlike Bury, which has really changed over the years, Lancaster hasn't, you know, a lot of it hasn't changed because they can't fuck about. Oh God, it might even be that, you know, in there I played a Viva Las Vegas 6, but again, I would have argued till I was blue in the face that it was when I was at uni. It can't have been. I must have gone back at some later date and played Viva Las Vegas 6 in there on a £6 jackpot. I'm very, very aware here that I'm prattling on about stuff that probably means absolutely fuck all to nobody else. My main point is, I'll shut up. My main point here is that this reference exists here. Jason here, can't thank him enough, has done the work years ago, but he took the time to comment on the previous video, and he's also signed up at Desert Island Fruit. So I will leave descriptions, links even to those posts in the description. It really is good to see, by the way, we're getting quite a few new people signing up at Desert Island Fruits. And it's not unusual because, oh, hi there, I've seen Degsy's video, so I thought I'd sign up and say hello. So please do that. It's a nice community over there. We're not the only one. I do keep saying there's the Mecca, the MPU Mecca, and there's also Dad's FME. So other fruit machine emulation sites are available. It is just that I'm active over at Desert Island Fruit. So, you know, if you want to get together with like-minded people and have a chat about this stuff, please do sign up over there. But that thread, been running since last year, we've finally got to the place where we've got definitive dates. And for me, that was, like I say, I realise this is very much just a personal thing here, but that 1st of January 1993 for the £6 jackpot proper threw me, because I had to reorganise stuff in my head or trawl back through the memory banks to make sense of, you know, how did I play a £6 jackpot Popeye in the Flying Shuttle? How did I play a £6 Viva Las Vegas in that pub in Lancaster, and so on? And it must be because from later on the timeline, and not when I thought it was, when I was at college and when I was at Lancaster Uni. So with that said, I will sign off here. Just with that, both the wonder of fruit machine emulation, two of the very first machines I remember playing in the pub. Super clear memories of playing these, and I'm absolutely sure on the date this time. Not in that cabinet though. Sunset Boulevard was in the stubby kind. That's a kind of later rebuild or something. But Sunset Boulevard in its original cabinet was in the Staff of Life in Radcliffe, as was Manhattan Skylines. I remember getting the £2.40 repeater on it. And the locals were friendly enough, and the £2.40 repeater repeated out to £7.20, and they're like, oh, young lads coming in here and taking all our money. They weren't kind of hostile and nasty about it, but very clear memories of when a £2.40 repeater was a big, exciting thing, and that probably one that I need to cover on the chat. It's a nice, lovely Vectra DX there. We've got Spar DX on the left-hand side. Vectra DX on the right hand side. It's a great AWP that. It's really good fun to play in the emulator. But that is going outside the scope of this video, which is really just to draw your attention to the fact that if you were wondering yourself, we have got the dates properly nailed down now on when the AWP jackpot dates, the various jackpot revisions were introduced over the years. So, sorry that took far longer than it should have done, but I will leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll catch up with you next time. But for now, it is goodbye.